This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance at nhliberty.org, fighting to keep the free state free.
Yours is the only statement saying...
But as usual, they protect their own, so they've got their story and their stick.
Keene, New Hampshire residents try to get answers from the city manager. They're trying to find out how the city would handle one of its employees
The camera off on public property.
who swiped a camera. Technically, this manager's response is probably not official oppression. It's just him passing the buck to a different bureaucracy. But what happens when you're talking to the right bureaucrat and they refuse to act against an obvious theft or murder? What happens when selective enforcement egregiously and nakedly favors bureaucrats over the people? Well, not a lot right now. It's illegal in New Hampshire. According to New Hampshire's criminal code, a bureaucrat is guilty of it if he, quote, knowingly refrains from performing a duty imposed on him by law or directly inherent in the nature of his office, unquote. But State Rep Dan Itse says there are not enough anti-bureaucrat teeth in the law. He's proposed a bill that would add those teeth. Believe it or not, the thing passed in committee.
More good news coming out of the same committee, criminal justice and public safety. What happened just then?
I had a bill in this year on official oppression. Official oppression is an existing law that makes it a misdemeanor for anyone for benefiting themselves or another, acts under the color of law, or fails to do that which would be reasonably expected of their office. Of course, often acts of official oppression, it's impossible to connect the dots between the act and any benefit, or it may just be, and I think probably in the majority of cases, it's simply because I can't. And so we took official oppression and divided it into two parts: the existing law, which is now misdemeanor B, and a new one, which is if it's done without benefit, then it is a violation, a criminal violation.
So what does this change in New Hampshire?
This means that if a police officer fails to enforce a, or a police chief fails to enforce a restraining order because it's on a police officer, that would now be official oppression.
Okay. How would it affect maybe motorists or property rights?
Well, say you had a police officer come to the door and say that they had the power to come into your house when they didn't. That would now be an act of official oppression.
It makes it a crime. Is it a misdemeanor, felony?
That would be a violation.
Just a violation, so it doesn't have a ton of teeth, but it has a little bit.
Yeah.
I see. All right.
Hey, you get enough violations for that kind of stuff, and people might complain.
Yeah. All right. Cool. What was the vote? What was the total?
I don't know yet.
Okay. But did you try this? Did you try this 2 years ago?
I tried something of this ilk my second term, so 6 years ago.
Cool. Well, some momentum for some of these things, at least.
Well,
finally.
I just kind of bided my time and figured out what the right thing was, and I realized that the current law simply called it a misdemeanor. And we now have misdemeanor A and misdemeanor B, and I proposed A for benefit, B for no benefit, and they dropped it down to B with benefit and violation with no benefit. That's cool.
All right. It's a start.
When you look at the phrase official oppression online, the first entry you get on startpage.com is New Hampshire's law against official oppression. So the state is already ahead of others, in a way, on this matter. We'll see if Itze's bill makes it through the next steps and becomes law. However, as always, I wish Liberty reps like him would focus more on repealing bad laws than making more laws. Because good or not, laws have a way of becoming bad and spewing unintended consequences. It's my happy duty to report to you that this edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance. You cannot do this.
at the State House without hitting one of these guys. They're all over the place, fighting for your freedom. But they need your help. Please join them at nhliberty.org. Oh, and make that us. Join us, because I'm a member. nhliberty.org. I would like to place a collect call to Ouch.